No mai haere mai. It's the Huddy Hui. Find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. huddysports.co.nz. Now let's kōrero.
Kia ora, good evening, and welcome to the Huddy Hui episode 161. And another round of NPC rugby and Test match rugby coming up this weekend as well. Interesting selections in the All Blacks and the South African teams. But our guest tonight has been playing in the professional game at NPC and Super Rugby for a few years now, and he's a Wellington boy. But he lives his time up in the Bay of Plenty these days. Naitoa Ah Koui is our guest on the Huddy Hui tonight. Naitoa, many thanks for coming on the Hui. Let's talk about the delay. We just had a few technical difficulties, but we're back here and working. And what was also working well last week was Bay of Plenty got back to winning ways with a win over North Harbour, 19 points to 7. What was the learnings from that review of that game?
Of the review of the North Harbour game, or the review before it that led into
the North Harbour game, yeah.
There's plenty to work on. Like we've still got some opportunities that we left out there, and I think it's all about pulling the trigger and having the confidence in doing that. So, to get a win was awesome, but we still have, I feel like, a long way to go if we want to be contenders into the final series. And I think for us, we got to understand that last year was last year, and to make a final is one thing, but to do it again is another thing. So we've got to understand that, that's long gone now. It's a new year with new players, and take a step in the right direction. And I think last week shows that we're a good enough team to win games, but we still got a lot of improvement. So, I guess that was the gist of it.
2 losses, of course, to Canterbury and Southland. Both were home games. What were the learnings from those 2 games in particular?
I think what I spoke on earlier about North Harbour game was probably what was massive in the Southland game. Like, we left a lot of opportunities, and there were many times where we could have pulled the trigger and I guess played to a little bit more space or had a bit more confidence in doing different things, but we fell into, I guess, our own system or just something that was comfortable for us. So that was a big learning in the Southland game. And the Canterbury game, Canterbury, I think, are probably the top team in the country at the moment, and it shows. They're a well-oiled machine, and I think the rise of Canterbury is coming back, like everyone's been talking about, and a lot of those boys are from the Crusaders, and they've kept the same momentum going from that Super Series. So there were plenty of learnings, and I think it goes back to what I was saying. Like, we made the final last year, and we fell short, but we still aren't the team that we were last year, and we've got to make sure that every week we come and perform. And I think last year's finals, getting road to the finals, has put us on the map in terms of a team that's dangerous. And I think every time a team's going to come up and play against us, they're going to respect us a bit more and come with a lot more heat. And Canterbury definitely showed that.
Who do you think will take the shield this week, Southland or Canterbury?
I see Canterbury they're the best in the comp, in my opinion, at the moment. But shield games are a completely different kettle of fish, and for Southland to gain it was awesome. But I think everyone grows an arm and a leg, an extra arm and a leg when it comes to Ranfurly. So on paper, or if you were to just say Canterbury versus Southland, who's going to win, you'd probably think Canterbury. But I mean, shield games, man, they're a different story. And Southland are bloody good, man. They've done a lot of improvements from previous years, and they're not a team to take lightly. And it shows when we lost to them, I guess, in Vegas.
I watched a good NZR Plus documentary on the Steamers team from last year. It gave a great insight into the culture at the Bay. What makes Bay of Plenty Rugby so special?
Yeah, it's like you said, the culture. I think Waddy has brought in a really good culture, and he talks about having a balance between having fun and also performing and finding that balance. And like the Bay of Plenty is one of the most beautiful places to live, Tauranga especially. So we're trying to find that balance between. I think we're doing a really good job. Sorry, of balancing what Tauranga has to offer as a destination, and also understanding like we also have to perform. And I think he's tied us back to our roots of the Bay of Plenty region and connected us a lot more to why we play and who we play for. I think that's been really awesome in what he's brought. And I think Kurt Eklund, our skipper, has done a really good job in leading us. He's a guy that leads by actions and everyone follows. So those two paired together make for a great culture, which is why you play really and why you enjoy it.
Of course, you mentioned Waddy, Richard Watt. He's well known to us in Wellington rugby. What else has he brought up to Bay of Plenty rugby from his time down in Wellington, particularly with the Hurricanes?
Yeah, the funny thing is I've known Waddy because like you said, I'm from Wellington, so I've in my school, I did a lot of stuff with him, and he came in and, as a Hurricanes coach, and did a lot of stuff at Wellington College, and then we'll do a lot of random stuff for rep teams. And it's funny that a lot of the things that he did then is what he does now, and it's quite funny to it's new to a lot of his terminology is new to a lot of people, but for me, I like listened and grew up listening to it in Wellington, so he's brought a lot of that stuff that. He's still quite old school in some ways, but he's also really open to learning and listening to people around him. So I think that's been really cool. So to have a guy that's I wouldn't say stuck in his ways, but old school and has done a lot in the game and tends to go back to what he knows, but still has that open mindedness to listen to guys who have come from all different Super Rugby teams. I think that's been really big for us because we do have a lot of super rugby players, but they all come from different systems per se. So for him to be open to learning as well as also bringing his own flavour has been good.
You mentioned to Captain Kirk Eklund, you two get on like a house on fire. Tell us about this great bond that you two have.
Yeah, I think we've bonded ever since we met in 2021. We just do a lot of fishing and diving and that sort of outdoor stuff. And we share the same sort of views on water. We currently have an Instagram account called Bateman and Rodden, which is a good escape from rugby. As a lot of people know, it's quite an intense environment to be in. And I think for him, especially being the captain, he's got to worry about a lot of things. So yeah, he's cool. He's an old man. He's almost 40, so I just keep him young as a young man, and we balance each other out, I guess, and that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, he's a good lad. He's a good man.
When was your Bay of Plenty debut, and who was it against?
Wellington, actually. My first year, I came up. I had a concussion, so I was out for the whole season. And then in 2022, I debuted against Wellington, which was quite funny. Well, not funny, but the stars had sort of aligned for me to go back to Wellington and play my first game and have it against him. We actually ended up losing, but it was quite a funny thing, I guess, going back and playing your a place that you grew up with, and B, the peers that you played with like not so long ago. So yeah, that was fun. That was an interesting experience, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Even though we lost, it was pretty cool.
And how have you found the lifestyle up in the Bay of Plenty since you've made the move from Wellington?
It's been good. Like the more I stay here, the more I realize the weather in Wellington is not something I enjoy too much. And I remember when I moved to Hamilton, I thought wind was like normal. So like I thought having a breeze was normal, and then I went to Hamilton, and there was just no breeze in my first week of preseason, and I was so far under it. And I remember going back to Wellington, and every time I've gone back to Wellington, it's just like it's even if it's like a good day in Wellington is like 18 degrees, but it's like windy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I grew up thinking that was a good day. If you did that here, you're like, it's bloody freezing.
Yeah.
So the lifestyle here is great, and the people here are awesome. And like I said, we do a lot of fishing and that
Mm.
sort of stuff outside of the game, and having a place like this is easy to get that done. Really.
You mentioned you've also previously played your rugby in Wellington, in particular for the Wellington Lions. And what year did you make the Lions squad, and who informed you that you made the squad?
That's a good question. What year would it have been? 2019. 2019 was my first year. Um, and who informed me? I think it was Chris Gibbs,
Mm.
the head coach at the time. Um, yeah, that was a crazy experience, and I felt like I was young, and I was um, coming along for the ride, and we ended up making the finals that year and losing to Tasman. But then my first year was just an awesome experience, and I didn't realize how hard it is to get to finals until
Mm.
now, as a sort of elder statesman of the team here, and you realize how difficult it is to even make the finals. So we made the finals in my first year, and I thought, "Wow, this was bloody fun!" But yeah, it was a cool experience, and I really enjoyed it.
Who did you debut against? And what?
We
And for Wellington, yeah.
I debuted against Tassie, and we got a hiding in. It was like not. It wasn't Trafalgar Park. It was in Nelson. I'm pretty sure. Like they were. Wait, I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was, but yeah, it was against Tassie, and Tassie were the team to beat. That's the team we lost to in the finals, and they had that couple of years where they won finals, and they had just like super rugby players left, right, and center. I was just young and up and coming
Mm.
and green and really keen. But yeah, that was my debut, and it was a good welcome to professional rugby moment, really.
Of course, your attachment to Wellington is with the Marist St. Pat's Rugby Club. How has that club been important for you, in particular your development as a player?
Yeah, I can see the jersey there. It's a very nice jersey up in the.
That's
How did
right.
you even
Yeah.
get that? Where
I
did you
actually
get
I
that?
brought that online this year actually. So yeah, I just thought I would buy one
Is
because I've
it
yeah.
is it an old school one, or is it?
It's
Oh, it's Paladin.
yeah, Paladin. They did like the old school jerseys this year. So I
When did
managed.
they do that? Oh,
I think
are
it's
they still
about.
online?
I'm not too sure actually. It was about April May. I brought it. I think so. Yeah, quite a nice
Oh,
jersey. So,
I need to go call my dad and tell him to find me one of those. Those immaculate.
yeah, no, they're great quality too.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, we're St. Pat's. Yeah, that's the club that I started with. I still go down to this day and help out and try and get a game in every year because that is the club I started with and the club I grew up playing for. And I tell a lot of people, like when I was young, I a lot of people I idolized were Prem players that played for Marist, and all I wanted to be was a Marist Prem's player. So yeah, it's massive to me, and I owe a lot to that club. It's where I started. It's where I grew up watching and idolizing players, like I said, and I was always ball boying the Prem's games and watching my dad play for the senior thirds. It was quite funny. The 2012 final, the last time we won the Jubilee, Clayton McMillan was the coach,
Mm.
and me and Nicola Broughton were ball boys. So it's funny to see Nick's now, me and Nicola in the Steamers, and as well as Donk being my coach for the Chiefs for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's a full circle moment with all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Clayton McMillan, of course, he's recently just left over to Europe, but as you mentioned, he coached the Chiefs and was involved with Bay of Plenty Rugby. What was your coaching background with him before you got into the top level stuff?
So that was it. That was the first time I had him as a coach. The only time I had seen him as a coach was him coaching the Prems. So
Mm.
was a completely different man back then. He was like he still is a hard nosed
Yeah.
man. He's got a policing background, so a lot of guys that come from a policing background have that sort of regimented, I don't know, style of coaching. So he was bloody scary when I was young and I was a ball boy. I remember the final. He was just saying, "It's you got to bleed for this. You got to all this sort of stuff." So that was my last memory of him when I was young, and then it was awesome to have him in the Chiefs, and I felt like we had a really good, I guess, bond, and I could be very open to him, and he sort of, I think he took a while to understand the kind of person I was when he first came in. I guess I'm not the usual sort of character, so he I think took a little bit of time, but when he understood how I was as a person, we got on like a house on fire, and I certainly will miss him,
Mm.
especially around the Chiefs way. So yeah, that's my only time I've had him
Yeah.
as a coach.
Yeah, let's talk about the reasons why you signed with the Chiefs. How did that come about?
It was just an opportunity.
Mm.
I was in Wellington, and yeah, the opportunity came for me to go up. And at the time, there was the only opportunity really that had come my way. Really, there were a few contracts here and there that weren't full contracts, but at that time, I just found out I was having twins,
Yep.
and I was thinking, man, I'm either gonna be a professional rugby player and sign for the Chiefs, or I'm gonna be like holding a lollipop working on the roads. I'm like, how am I gonna support my family here by doing that sort of stuff?
Mm.
Because I had no qualifications. I was just a full fledged rugby player, and I put all my eggs in one basket. So that was sort of the decision, and I knew nothing about Chiefs rugby.
Mm.
I didn't know much about the players because I was just a diehard Hurricanes fan. So that was sort of the only that was the reason I came up, and it was just an opportunity, and I've loved it ever since.
Mm.
And like ever since the first day I got up there, everyone was so welcoming. The culture was awesome, and it made me feel like um, I could be myself, and I'm definitely a lot different from your typical
Mm.
Taranaki farm boy or local Hamilton player. So it was cool to be welcomed in, and as a Wellingtonian, I guess, who's a bit alternative in sort of my characteristics. But yeah, that's how I got up here.
And let's talk about the Chiefs club. What makes it special?
I think the culture. I think the
Mm.
culture's been also like a lot of people talk about the culture from the outside, and they say that it looks like it's a team with a good culture, and it very much is. And I think when Clayton came in, he did the same as sort of what I was talking about with Waddy. He brought an understanding of what Chiefs mana was and what the jersey represents, and there's a lot of sort of Maori things that bound to the Chiefs, and he did a really good job of articulating that to us, and it meant you kind of understood what you're playing for, who you're playing for. He talked about the jerseys that we play in, and that everything on there has a specific meaning, and so you have a full understanding when you play what you're wearing, why you're wearing it, who you're playing for, why you're playing for them. And I think like that I genuinely believe we have the best fans in the world, and I feel like we are the team that has the most fans that aren't actually from Waikato, and I think
Yeah.
it's through. Um, I see a lot of it in Wellington, which is quite cracker. When I'm down in Wellington, a lot of people are Chiefs supporters, and I'm like, "Why are you Chiefs supporters?" And they're like, "Well, I just love their culture. Or I love what they
Yeah.
stand for." So I think that's cool, and the people, our fans, like I said, back us 100%. It's unfortunate that we haven't won a final. I've
Yeah.
been in 6 finals as a professional rugby player, and I've lost all of them. I'd like to say I'm the reverse of Michael Jordan. I'm actually 0-6, not 6-0. But yeah, I think the people that we play for is awesome, and Clayton's done a good job of bringing the culture
Mm.
to the team and giving us an understanding of what it means to be a Chiefs player, really.
When was your Chiefs debut, and who was it against?
Chiefs debut was 2020 against the Blues. We played up in the Blues and we won. I came off the bench, and I remember I was on the bench. It was me and Bradley Slater were the only players that weren't All Blacks,
Mm.
and a lot of them had come back from sort of All Black breaks, so they were on a sort of time minute restriction. So I remember I was on the bench and it was me, Bradley Slater, but then it was like Nepo Laulala, Angus Tatovao, Aaron Cruden was on the bench. I remember sitting on the bench looking to like my left and right, going, "Holy hecker! Like these are some genuine." I was like, "Wow, Aaron Cruden!" Right there, because I was just buzzing out. So it was pretty cool. It was a cool moment, and it was a cool victory um, against the Blues. And I didn't know much about the Battle of the Bombays and how big it is,
Mm.
the rivalry between the Blues and the Chiefs. So it was pretty cool to get a win up there, especially Eden Park, special stadium.
You had some international rugby experience in 2023 when you were selected in the All Black 15. What was it like
Mm.
touring on an international team and wearing the black jersey?
Oh, it was great. Like I think that's probably one of the most enjoyable touring teams going around. Like it's a great balance of fun, but also understanding we are playing international rugby, and I think that was the cool part. The black jersey to me was cool, but it was more of a I knew it
Mm.
wasn't the black jersey, and I felt that, and it was more motivation for me to work harder to try and get into the black jersey. And it felt really cool to do the national anthem and to do the haka and to wear black. But ultimately, it was just for me motivation to really do it in the actual black jersey, really.
Now, speaking about the black jersey, I believe you had a taste of the All Blacks camp during the French series. What was that experience like?
Yep, yep. I did a couple weeks. I did the whole series, French series, and yeah, it was really cool, really intense environment. I understand when they talk about the weight of a nation,
Mm.
being in that, really, really articulated that, and it was cool to rub shoulders with the best and to train and be an All Black for a couple of weeks was really cool. For me personally, I knew I wasn't in the squad,
Yep.
and so I felt like I wasn't in the squad. And again, for me, it's similar to the All Black 15. It just gave me motivation um, to do one better and be named in a squad and play in a test match. And it was pretty special to be among to um, go to an All Black game as an All Black and warm up and be in that sort of environment and feel that pressure. I enjoy being in pressure situations, so to sort of have that taste of what it feels like to be under the limelight and to have the whole of the nation watching you and criticizing you and that sort of stuff was a cool experience. Yeah.
Mm. Of course, they're playing this Saturday at Eden Park. It's also Adi Savier's 100th test, and the All Blacks have not lost there since 1994. What's your thoughts on this titanic clash at the Garden of Eden this Saturday?
Massive, massive. It's Artie's 100th. It's Carl Preston's debut,
Mm.
which makes me like almost teary eyed, really. I
Mm.
know how hard he's worked, and we grew up playing rep rugby together in Wellington. And he's one of the hardest workers I know. And when
Mm.
he played for the Lions, I was just saying, I talked to a lot of people. I sound like bloody LeBron James saying I knew this was going to happen, but I talked to a lot of people and I said, he's going to be an All Black. And he
Yep.
got a Super Rugby contract with the Crusaders. And I was like, he's going to be an All Black. And then he played a couple games. And then to see him debut now was very special. And
Yeah.
a lot of people see that it's come out of nowhere. But for people who have known him before all of this, you kind of felt that it was if he had been given a chance, it would be inevitable. And I think you're
Yep.
seeing the fruits of his labor, of his hard work that he's done for so long in Wellington. But yeah, on the game, massive. Yeah, Carl's potential debut and in Artie's 100th. Artie is a special human being who's done a lot for rugby, really.
Yeah.
I think as a whole. And the Garden of Eden, what's that, 30 years
Yeah, that'd
since
be about
we've
right. Yeah.
lost.
Yep.
Massive. It's a fortress, and they talk about it being a fortress. And I spoke about the pressure of being in the All Blacks and loving it. But that was the pressure against,
Mm.
the France 15 as they call it. So to have the pressure now of with holding well, keeping that streak alive and it being against the two-time World Cup champs is huge. So
Mm.
it'll be a ding dong battle. It'll be massive game, and it's going to be interesting,
It
really, to
will be,
see.
certainly will be. I'm lucky enough to be going to watch that game this weekend. It should
Oh,
be,
how good!
it's going to be brilliant. So, but yeah, and then also watching the second test in Wellington. So it's going to be a good test
Oh,
series to watch as well
mate,
too.
you have a job? You working, or what is it? Is this
I'm
part of
still
your job? You just
I'm still teaching. Yeah. So
oh, wait, what? You just relieving or something? Are you taking sick
no,
days and then
still
showing
full
up? And,
time, still full time. Yeah. Keep
oh,
myself
mate,
busy. Yeah.
you're doing it all. You're doing it all.
Yeah. Now let's go back to speak about secondary school. You're a product of the great rugby school that is Wellington College. How was your time there?
That's good. I'm glad you said the great rugby, the great school. I know you're the same Pats man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known you for a long time now. Ever since high school.
Oh, you're exactly
Um,
right. Yep. Used to hang
like
around St.
water
Pat's
polo
Town a
days.
hell of a lot too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I lived around there, and I played for Marist. The Meridas were my best mates, and it's a small world, really.
Mhm.
But yeah, Wellington College. It's again similar to Marist St. Pat's. It's a place that I learned a lot about my craft. I spent my first year actually in Wellington High School, which a lot of people don't know. And then when I explain to people outside of Wellington, they don't quite understand if it's two schools, one school.
Yeah.
And then I explain to them like Wellington High School and Wellington College are like as far from each other as you can possibly get. One is like an alternative co-ed, no
Yep.
uniform school, and the other one is like a prep boy excellence, school. It's quite funny speaking to people about it, but my time at Wellington College, like I love it, and I've got lifelong friends that are still my mates today, and I learnt a lot from there. I had Lincoln Rawls come to training yesterday. He
Oh,
was my
yes.
old
Yeah.
first coach. He's up for Ames games here in Tauranga with his daughter, so it was cool to see him and cool to talk rugby. And it was actually cool seeing Mr. Sharlin, my other teacher. His son's at St. Pat's. One of his sons at St. Pat's. One of the
That's
sons
right.
at
That's
Cole.
correct. Yeah.
But
Yep.
I spoke to him. I spoke to him for a bit when I was in Wellington, and every time I see those guys, it's kind of it's cool when it's funny you see teachers outside when
Mm.
you've left school, but you still call them sir. You still see them in that limelight there talking to me about life, and I'm like, mate, that's so cool seeing you. So yeah, it's Wellington College is special to me and a place that similar to American Pets. I always go back and try and help out because it's given me so much. It's given
Mm.
me the opportunity to be here now. I guess speaking to you about professional rugby.
Yeah. Now, of course, you're in the first 15. What was your best moment playing for the first 15 at Wellington College?
That's a good question. It was beating you guys in 2016 final.
That's right. Yeah.
I'd say that. That's right. That was. I talk about like it's funny when I was growing up and I spoke to people would come in who were professional players and they'd talk about rugby and they'll say the funnest moments you'll play is when you're at school. And I'm like thinking, what? Like you're a professional rugby player? Surely not.
Mm.
But now as a professional rugby player, I can wholeheartedly say that first 15 rugby was like the
Yeah.
most enjoyable because there's so much, I guess, patriotism
Yep.
when you're at a school and you have so much pride for your school, and so to be put at all park finals against St. Pat's and have two schools just going at it, chancing at each other, and to come out with a victory is very, very special and something that when people ask me what my greatest achievement is in rugby, I tend to say that.
Yep. Fantastic. You just mentioned it before. You also were pretty handy at water polo as well. How did that sport help you with your rugby? And what rep teams did you make with water polo?
Oh, I played for the New Zealand. I think it must have been under 14 and 16, maybe. I
Yep.
quite remember what years they were, but I played. Played for New Zealand back then. I don't think I could do it now. But water polo is probably has the most transferable skills. I did Aussie rules as well, but
Mm.
um, water polo, I think my hand-eye coordination and my ball skills, a lot of it comes from water polo. And, it's an underrated sport and it's a very difficult sport. And I'd probably say when I was in high school that I was better at water polo than I was at rugby.
Yep.
I reckon. But yeah, yeah, water polo is a fun sport, man. I loved it.
And of course, going back to rugby, you also were in the under 20s in 2019. How special was that time?
That was cool. That was very cool. It was a cool little stint. So I went over there and it's actually a great time of learning. I slept in and woke up and I was so late that I was going down the elevator. The elevator was see through and I could see the boys warming up for training. So I realized I had missed the entire meeting and missed half the warm up, and that's how late I was and how much I slept in. So there's a massive learning in that. And the coach, I talked to the coach and I was like, "I'm so sorry," and he said, "That's all right. Just make it up to me in the game." And then I rolled my ankle in the first like 4 minutes, and
Mm.
then was just hobbling around for about the 20 more minutes, and then went off the field. So I didn't make the All Black, sorry, the World Cup squad, and they had questions around my character as a rugby player and as a person. And it was a lot of I had a lot of learnings from that experience. But it was cool, and it was at a time where I was young, very keen, very eager, and to put on a black jersey at that age was awesome. Yeah.
Who have been the biggest influences in your rugby career?
Oh, rugby career. Um, that's a good question. I grew up in Wellington and I idolized the um, MSP Prims really,
Mm.
and a guy named Fatunu Fili, who was the first five for Marathon Pets when I was growing up. I loved watching him.
Mm.
He's a very Resly player, and could had the ball on the string really when he played, and um, played with so much confidence. And I think I watched a lot of that, and I try to emulate that a lot when I was sort of playing at that age. And I think yeah, him and I'd probably say there wasn't too many forwards really. It was more I just like the wrestle of the backs, eh? And I'd say Fatu Philly was the one dude. If I could pin it down to a person that I looked up to, would probably be him. And I saw him week in week out when I was growing up because like I said, I was the ball boy for the Prims, and the stuff he would do would it's like it's still crazy to this day, and you
Mm.
don't see that anymore. Or you don't you do see that, but when you see it, it's so rare. But
Yeah.
for him, it was week in, week out the things that he was doing. And then I ended up playing with him when I left school. And that was surreal. I speak about playing with All Blacks when I was coming into Super Rugby level, but to
Mm.
play Prem Rugby with him is probably on par with playing with the likes of Brady Retallick and that sort of
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah. Who has been the toughest opponent you've played against and why?
Crusaders,
Crusaders.
because I've lost to them. They've lost to the bloody finals, 3 finals against them. Um, they're they are and when it comes to finals, they are very, very good.
Mm.
And in my years at the Chiefs, I think we have like a better record. We've won more games than lost games against them. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's the same
Mm.
amount. So we tend to beat them a lot. But when it comes to finals footy, they they're very efficient, very
Yeah.
smart. They know how to play finals footy. It is a very different game when you get into finals footy, and the margin of error is very, very small. And they've been there and done that for many years, and that's when big time players stand up, and they're tough to beat when it comes to finals footy.
Yeah.
So I'd say them, yeah.
What goals do you still want to achieve in your rugby career?
I want to be an All Black,
Yep. Yep.
plain and simple. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
And you've got close to that
Um,
already in the
that's
environment. Yeah.
Yep, yep. It's still the same goal. It's still the goal I had when I was, I don't know, 3, 4. But yeah, that's my goal. Yeah.
Now, speaking about another Titanic clash this weekend, plenty travelled to Taranaki, New Plymouth, to take on Taranaki, second and fifth on the table. How is the team approaching this game, and who will the Steamers have to watch out for in the Taranaki team?
Oh, that's a good question. Taranaki are a strong side, very strong side. Um, I guess they're the same as Canterbury. They've been doing very well. They've built a system and have had players that have been in this team for a very long time, and they've got a lot of cohesion, led by Neil Barnes, who coached us at the Chiefs my first couple of years. So they're very innovative, very creative. I'd say Josh Jacob, he's the one that drives the ship, and he drives it very well. He's got a lot of confidence. And Kalen Boshier, I think, is the skip. He's very strong. He's very smart, very tactical. But across the park, they've got Super Rugby players everywhere, and it's no easy feat beating them. And it's no easy feat, especially going down to Sierra Stadium and playing against them. So it'll be a fun game. I'm very excited for it.
One final question: will we see the Steamers in the final and finally break that drought since their first ever NPC title in 1976?
What do you reckon, Mr. Hudson? What do you reckon?
I reckon it's they're due now. I think you could take it out. You've got a great roster.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave that to the pundits to decide. I've obviously got my own opinions, and I will forever back any team that I'm a part of. But I'll leave that for everyone else to decide what they think will unfold.
Well, Naitoa, it's been fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui, and it's been a joy watching you grow up through secondary school and flourishing now up there in Hamilton and the Bay of Plenty. And hopefully that phone call in the All Blacks is not too far away for you. Many thanks for coming on the Huddy Hui tonight.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you. That is Naitoa Ah Koui. Great to chat to him. Remember him growing up as a young lad in Wellington, and he certainly got the better of St. Pat's Town in rugby and sometimes water polo as well. Very talented player indeed. So coming up, of course, I'm not here this weekend in Wellington. I'm heading up to Auckland for the All Blacks test at Eden Park. I'm really looking forward to that one. But I've got my crew going to be doing a game this Saturday. It is the National Under 85 kg quarter-final. And it's the Avalon Wolves at Fraser Park, their home ground, taking on last year's runners-up in the national final, High School Old Boys Light Bears from Christchurch. So that kicks off on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Our coverage will start at 12:45. And Scott McLean, a well-known referee in Wellington, he's going to make his main commentary debut. So he's going to be bringing that game and the commentary to you on Huddy Sports. So make sure you tune in for that one. Also, speaking about Wellington teams, the Wellington Pride, they have a big journey up to Ah Koui in Northland, and they take on the Northland Carry, 12:05 on Saturday. And the Wellington Lions travel to Hawke's Bay, to Napier, to play Hawke's Bay at 2:05 p.m. That's always a tough match, that one as well. And of course, we talked about it last night, the All Black Test. We're really looking forward to that one as well. So next week's Huddy Hui is on Thursday. That will be episode 162. And we'll have Keys Jensen on. He's part of the Old Boys University Scallywags, and he was selected in the squad for the first ever national under 85 team. And he is part of the selected Wellington under 85 team, the rep team. They finally got an official team for that. And he's been part of that. So we'll catch up with him on Thursday. The name Jensen sounds very similar. His father, Ed, of course, played on the Huddy Hui to preview last year's OBU Scallywags. So we have the father and the son on the Huddy Hui history books here for you. So we'd also like to thank our sponsors here on Huddy Sports, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Lane Limited, Louise Reddy of New Zealand Travel Brokers, Gavin Murphy and the team, from G and Hickton Funeral Directors, and also to Gavin Murphy, to EG Fresh Range Eggs, Nathan Williams and the team. They're doing a sterling job. If you're willing to help Huddy Sports, head over to huddysports.co.nz. We always want to keep what we do free for all of you to watch. So head to huddysports.co.nz. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And also our email address is huddysportsnz@gmail.com. So just a reminder, folks, we've got the National Under 85 quarter-final. Avalon take on the high school Old Boys Light Bears from Christchurch, 1 o'clock this Saturday. Our coverage starts at 12:45. Many thanks to our guest, Naitoa Ah Koui, for joining the Huddy Hui tonight. And I am Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. And check out huddysports.co.nz.
Blocked drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning, from quick fixes to full renovations. He's got the tools, the team, and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable, and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here
And Cassie Murphy.
from G and Higton Funeral Directors.
Don't leave it up to someone else to tell your story. Do it now when you can enjoy being part of the conversation.
With a prepaid funeral, you can have music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to our website at gnhigton.co.nz/pre-planning.
The Huddy Hui. Huddy Sports captivating sports show. The Huddy Hui covers Wellington Club Rugby as well as other sporting topics of debate. Tune in on YouTube during the rugby playing months as host Brad Hudson interviews rugby players and other sporting personalities across the Wellington region and the rest of New Zealand. Catch the Huddy Hui streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever good yarns are heard. The Huddy Hui live on Huddy Sports. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, she'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise@louise.reddy@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Ciao for now.